Alright, so I'm going to go over our digital superstar class rules. And so I have 8 rules that I decided to include regarding how I would implicate using technology into the classroom. A lot of these rules I'm basing off of my internship site and what my clinical teacher does that I think are great practices regarding technology. So my first rule is no eating or drinking while using technology. This is obviously important because my students at my clinical school or at my internship site, they have their own Chromebooks, and I don't want them to get food or water on their Chromebooks to damage them. So obviously, while we are using Chromebooks, the food and water need to be away, or any liquid for that matter. My next rule is make sure to never share your username or password. This is for security purposes, and it teaches students cyber safety and good habits. Obviously, I would tell them that they're allowed to share their password with me as their teacher and their parents, but other than that, they need to keep their username and password to themselves. The next rule is only go on safe sites that are approved by your teacher and stay on the app or tab that your teacher told you to be on. So they only go on safe sites that you are approved that are approved by your teacher. I would have a list of sites that I would pre-approve. For example, if I told the kids, all right, you can go play a math game on the computer, they would know that they're allowed to use these websites and only the websites that I've listed, unless for some reason they show me a website and I look at it before they go on it. Or they ask about a certain website and I research it. That's just to keep our online classroom rules and just keeping us safe, to serve safely. And then obviously stay on the app or tab that your teacher told you to be on. So if we are doing a lesson or an activity, my students need to stay on the activity or the tab or app that I told them to be on. So if we're on Canvas, they need to be on Canvas unless I tell them otherwise to switch the app or tab. My next rule is save all work frequently. This is obviously important because it puts into practice saving work. A lot of times I've observed students losing their work and then they have to restart, so it's important to save work frequently. The good thing is that a lot of the platforms that at least my internship students are using are websites that automatically save, but it is still a good practice to teach students to save their work frequently. My fifth rule would be practice quiet voices while working. This is important because we're still learning, and it's important to have a calm environment where students can focus. Obviously, this won't always be applied, this rule, especially if we're having collaboration using different apps or technology, but I definitely would like to implicate this practice when we are working by ourselves using technology. The sixth rule is be prepared, bring devices to school charged, Chromebooks and or iPads. So at my clinical school or my internship site, all of the students have been given a Chromebook, and so I've noticed that a lot of the students forget to charge their Chromebooks, and this is really an issue. So a lot of times they're behind on their classwork that is online because their Chromebook is dead. So this is obviously a rule I'd like to implicate to make sure that my students remember to charge their Chromebooks before they come into school. Also, too, bringing their chargers is very important in case their computer does die when they're at school. And obviously not every year do districts give every child an iPad or a Chromebook, but I would still implicate this even if each child didn't necessarily have a Chromebook or iPad they could take home. I would just ask them to plug in the Chromebook or iPad into the cart before they were to leave. My seventh rule is always carry iPads and Chromebooks with two hands. This is important just to make sure that we don't drop the Chromebooks or iPads. And then the last rule is keep Chromebooks and iPads on the table or a flat surface at all times. This is important because sometimes if we're not holding our iPads or Chromebooks correctly, or we don't lay them on a flat surface, it's very easy to drop them. So I would implicate that rule as well. So those are my 8 rules that I would use to have digital superstars in my classroom.